Hello friends, I am Haridasan, President of Retired Railway Pensioners Welfare Association Central Railway and also the Vice President of All India Retired Railwaymen's Federation based at Secunderabad. After a small gap, I am back with a video before you, and the immediate provocation for this video is a recent Railway Board's order on the closure of CTSC scheme. Now, this order has created some confusion, at least few of our pensioners, and I thought it's better to throw more light on the subjects and also to explain whether the closure of the CTSC scheme really have anything to do with the present scheme which we are enjoying under UMID card, UMID. So let me begin with tell you that the closure of CTSC scheme, that is cashless treatment scheme in emergency, the closure of CTSC scheme has got nothing to do with the present benefits which we are getting with UMID card, UMID card. The CTSC scheme was the policy matter on this CTSC scheme was decided in 2016, and originally it was meant only for the retired people and the family members. But again, in December of 2016, they reviewed this policy and prepared a new memorandum of understanding to include the employees in CTSC scheme. And finally, it was implemented in the year 2017 in Indian Railway. And the scheme was initially meant for the pensioners and employees working and residing in cosmopolitan cities of our country like Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai and Bangalore. And subsequently the jurisdiction was extended to few other railways also. Now, for joining the CTSC scheme, there were 3 different slabs, and the slabs, the criteria for deciding this slab was based on our last pay drawn. Now, for example, if as per the last pay drawn by the employees are eligible for a private ward, the contribution to the scheme was 50,000 rupees. And if your last pay drawn employees were entitled for semi-private ward, the contribution was 25,000 rupees. And in case of general ward, the contribution was 10,000 rupees. So in different railways, so many members have joined this scheme. And now the government has decided to close this scheme. Now, if we look at the present scheme which is available for the UMID card holders, we will find a lot of similarities between these two schemes, that is CTSC schemes and also this UMID schemes. There are some similarities between these two schemes, though one have got nothing to do with the another scheme. Now, the first and foremost similarity is both the schemes are intended to give medical relief to those members who are the members of RELHS scheme, Retired Employees Liberalized Health Scheme. So both the schemes are meant to give medical relief, medical benefit to the RELHS holders. Now, there are some differences also. Some issues, some points there are some differences also. For example, we'll examine one or two cases where the difference persists between two schemes. Number one, under UMID card system, we are eligible for OPD treatment in private empaneled hospitals, whereas this OPD facility is not available in the CTSC scheme. That is one difference. Number two, under UMID card, now suppose if in case of an emergency, or we can say in case of a suspected emergency, if you go to a private empaneled hospital and they conduct all preliminary test, investigation, diagnosis test on us, and suppose after conducting all these tests, if the hospital is of the view that there is no emergency in this particular case, under UMID card, the expenditure occurred up to the point of investigation is borne by the railways. But under CTSC scam, under the scheme of CTSC, you are required to deposit a certain amount with the private empaneled hospital when you approach them for a treatment, even an emergency treatment. And that deposit amount is again fixed on the basis of your last pay drawn. Now suppose if you are entitled for a special ward, you have to deposit an amount of 10,000 rupees with the private hospital. And in case of those who are entitled for semi-private ward, they are supposed to pay 5,000 rupees. And those employees, those who are entitled for general ward, have to pay 2,000 rupees as a deposit to the private empaneled hospital, in addition to their contribution, their contributory amount, which I just explained to you. Now suppose a CTSC holder, suppose he is suspected of an emergency cases and he want to go to the hospital, he have to deposit this amount, this 10,000, 5,000 or 2,000, wherever that employee is classified, becomes fit or becomes eligible, on the basis of the last pay drawn. So now after being admitted in the hospital, or after conducting the entire diagnosis, if the doctor feels that there is absolutely no emergency, no need of an emergency, there is no emergency, and the situation doesn't warrant any emergency treatment, so in such cases, the expenditure occurred up to the point of this diagnosis or investigation shall be deducted from your deposit amount, and the remaining amount shall be returned to the CTSC card holder within 48 hours. So under UMID card, that the expenditure occurred up to the point of investigation is borne by the railways, but under CTSC scheme, that money have to be deposited or paid by the beneficiaries. Now third one is, of course, even CTSC also, CTSC under the amended policy matter, pensioners as well as employees all are entitled for all the benefit available under CTSC scheme, whereas in UMID card also, the employees, the retired pensioners and the widows and the dependent relatives, everybody is eligible for all those benefits which are available under this UMID scheme. So these are two entirely different schemes. The closure of CTSC scheme has nothing to do with the UMID scheme. Under the 2021 revised agreement, we as a medical beneficiary are eligible for all those benefits which hitherto we were getting on the basis of this UMID card. So there's no reason absolutely for any confusion. and I would like to make it clear to all my pensioners. Now, second point on this occasion, I would like to tell you about the problem being faced by the secondary pension holders. You know, the the problem have started with a railway board letter addressed to General Manager Southern Railway, where they said, and I will quote here, it has further been observed that widowed, divorced, unmarried daughter in receipt of family pension are not eligible for RELHS. Full stop. In view of this position, widowed, divorced, unmarried daughters in receipt of family pension are not entitled to opt for FMA. This is an order issued to General Manager Southern Railway, presumably on a query raised by the Southern Railway to Railway Board. Now, while giving this order, no specific reasons are mentioned over here. Generally, when the Railway Board issues some instruction, this is in a very exhaustive way. They put entire the facts and figures which force them to derive to a conclusion, or if they introduce a scheme or if they withdraw a scheme, generally they explain in detail about all those various aspects of that scheme, and then finally come to the conclusion that whether the employees have to be given or not to be given. But this order speaks nothing about this decision. They simply say they are not eligible to join the RELHS and also not eligible for FMA. But the Railway Board's orders, different orders, you can say, including the Indian Railway Medical Manuals, very clearly states that the dependent pensioners are eligible for becoming the members of RELHS and also for FMA. Now, I can quote you some of the rules. For example, as I told you, the Indian Railway Medical Manual 2000 edition 612A. Another Railway Board's order RBES/110/2018 dated 6/8/2018, and Railway Board's order dated 7/7/2014. Another Railway Board order dated 27/12/2016. All these orders very emphatically, very in an elaborate manner explain that the secondary pensioners are entitled for RELHS, entitled to become members of RELHS, and also entitled for FMA. But just based on a letter from Railway Board addressed to General Manager Southern Railway, in some of the divisions, the secondary pensioners are not allowed to join the RELHS scheme and also not entitled for FMA. But let me tell you also that in Mumbai division of Central Railway, we don't have such problem. Our secondary pensioners are they continue to be a member of RELHS scheme, and also many of them many of them are getting FMA also based on, of course, various other conditions. So both the issue need to be taken up at the Railway Board level. Now here, let me also tell you, I had a discussion with our president on both these issues. Both these issues means, number one, this closure of CTSC scheme. Now, of course, the government have introduced this scheme and they have closed it. But our request to the Railway Board will be, sir, when you close the scheme, it is not because of railway employees or railway pensioners. So we will request the Railway Board to kindly pay back the contribution which they have paid for joining the CTSC scheme, because the failure of the success of the scheme got nothing to do with the pensioners. We just obeyed the instruction of the policy makers and we contributed towards this scheme. And now if the board decides that scheme is not viable, we believe that the railway board is duty bound to refund the deposit amount which our pensioners paid. So we are going to take up this issue with the railway board. And secondly, the secondary pension holders, as per the railway board's own instructions, are eligible for becoming the members of RALHS scheme and also for FMA. And this also we are going to take up at the board level, and we may seek a clarification on this board's instruction disallowing the secondary pensioners from becoming the members of RALHS and FMA. And this order is dated on 27/10/2022. Now, of course, now All India Retired Railwaymen's Federation is holding their AGM at Secunderabad on 6th November of this year. And after this AGM, we are planning to go to Delhi and meet the concerned officers and place before them our request on both the issues. So that is all for today. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you.